Are you going live, yeah?
Yeah, I'll wait a minute. Not doing your makeup, eh?
I should have done. My makeup is in the car. I should have done. Come here, I am what I am. You either accept me the way I am or you don't.
Right, folks, start sharing, please. Come on, folks, start sharing.
Is it on live now?
Yeah, I won't start until there are about 40, 50 people. Hopefully not. Afternoon, update from Straddy Park. If you could all start, please, sharing. Got a special guest with you this afternoon. Her name's Dee, and she's on holiday in Wales. And she's got some home truths for the UK, and that includes Llanelli. You need to listen to this lady because she's got some real harrowing stories. So you need to get arses off your keyboards, and you need to start to come to places like Straddy Park where you should be fighting this immigration problem that we have in the UK. Right, the lady's name is Dee, and I'm going to bring you on to her.
Hi, folk.
And this is what I want. I want the most harrowing story that you can tell me that's happened in Ireland regarding the immigration problem that you've got in Ireland.
Where should I start? There's so many. There is so many, it's unbelievable. And before I start to tell you any harrowing stories, I am going to tell you it straight up. I won't dicky down it up and make it sound nice. And people that's not able for the truth, don't listen, because there is some harrowing stories. And people didn't listen in the beginning when the invasion was happening in Ireland, and that's exactly what it is an invasion. It's a complete and utter invasion of your communities, your country, and you're told then in Ireland you have no veto. And as you all know, no veto means no voice. Your opinion doesn't matter if you want to save your community from being invaded by people that's being released from prisons, mental institutions, you name it. And they're just being shipped off to UK and Ireland and Greece and everywhere else. I mean, look at Greece. Oh my God. The rapes and murders there is through the roof. I hope you all can understand my Dublin cut accent, but I'm over for a short break holiday with family members, and I was told about the lads all standing here, and I came to give my support to say, well done. But like, all you can do is commend them. For the simple reason why, they're standing up for your children. While you're sitting at home on your keyboards, they're out here standing up for your community to save your children, your daughters. And you're going to understand why now in a minute. You should get up off your keyboards, even if it's only an hour that you rotate with the people. You have to come and stand up if you want to keep your children safe. And I think after hearing this live stream, you're going to want to. Is it going to scare you? I'd say so. Because home truths usually do. And people don't want to hear the truth. They don't. In Ireland, it's not just happening in Dublin. It's happening all over Ireland. But to shut you up and take your freedom of speech away, there was a word invented by a man named Karl Marx, the Marxist. And the word is racist and Nazi. Now, the word racist was invented by this man, not because it means anything about a person of colour or a person from another country. That's not what racism actually means. That word was invented to take your freedom of speech away if you stand up against their narrative and you don't agree with them. They'll invent a word to brand you with, and then you get called racist, you're homophobic, you're racist against people of colour, which that's not actually what that word means at all. It's just a word that was invented to take your freedom of speech away. And the sooner you can put that away in a box, lock it away, you will come out and stand up for your rights. Because them names do not bother me now, not for 1 minute. Especially when I see what's happening in my country. My country, it's disgusting what's happening, not just in Dublin, but all over Ireland. I'm from Dublin, from the heart of Dublin. It's happening all over Ireland. The rapes, the murders, the attacks, even people holidaying in Ireland. And a man from America only 3 weeks ago fought for his life in intensive care because he couldn't walk the streets of Dublin in the broad daylight. 4 o'clock or something in the evening, broad daylight. There was a young woman, I think she was an Indian lady, Asian lady or Indian lady, I'm not sure which. She had a throat slit in the middle of the day in Dublin City by one of our doctors or engineers that invaded their country. Is it their fault that's invading their country? These people, the Somalians, Africans, Nigerians, Indians, Muslims, Ukrainians, everybody. It's not their fault that our countries are being invaded. It's your government's fault. That's whose fault it is. And that's where your anger needs to lie. We've had so many rapes. It's unbelievable. But the harrowing part is not just the rape. It's been made a victim again by we call the Garda Síochána, you call the police. They visit the homes of the victims of vicious gang rapes and warn them to take it down offline if it's a non-national. If it's an Irishman that's accused of rape, no visit off the Garda. But if it's a Somalian, Nigerian, African, Muslim, Indian, Asian, if it's one of them, oh my God, if it's one of the visitors that they have invited into your country, a visit from them to your door warning you to take it down offline or you will be arrested. One woman was brought to the Garda station from her home and she was coerced into saying that she lied. Because they said, we held you for 12 hours, we let you out and you'll be arrested on them doorsteps and brought in for another 12 hours. She retracted her story out of fear. She's gone into hiding. I've got one young girl, and I'm not going to mention her name, and she only got in touch with me this morning. I'll even show it to you when I get out of here. This lady has rang me because she said, I'm at the end of the day, I can't take any more. Because she went up and showed her face online when she talked about the rape in a taxi of a non-national. He got 19 years for the vicious, violent rape and sodomy. She woke up 7 hours later after he knocked her out. She doesn't know what he put into her body, whether he injected it or what he done. But she woke up 7 hours later, and this is how she lived to tell the truth. When he went to get somebody, probably to take her body out of the car, because as far as he was concerned, she was dead. But she had woke, but she stayed still and she played dead. She got out of that car on the other side and she screamed the police down for help. And that's how she was able to identify him. He got 19 years in prison. That girl only got in touch with me this morning. She's traumatised. She's not being given any help from anybody. A government that let her down. She's a little autistic boy and she's been given help by nobody. The rapes that's happening to young boys, especially gay boys, oh God love them. They're being attacked left, right and centre. Raped, gang raped. And the beatings for the child, for young kids coming out in school because their skin is that colour. Because their skin is that colour, they're being beaten to a pulp. I've got many a videos, many a videos. If you go on to overdwall.com, you will see the vicious, violent attacks on young teens and 10s and 11-year-olds. Because these young kids from other countries are being told that the white people treated their people like slaves. The first slaves was the Irish, if you look back in history. They were dirt on the bottom of your shoe. Well, I'm going to tell you about 2 gay men in Ireland. And a person has just now pleaded guilty. He hasn't been sentenced yet. He's a Muslim. He's Asian, I think he is. No, he's a Romanian. I forget the nationality now. He's a non-national. I think he's Romanian. I'm 80% sure he's Romanian. And only this week in the courts, the men are not going to get the justice that they want because he changed his plea to guilty. And these two men in their 50s, one was only in his 40s, one in his 50s, there was 3 of them. And they seek out gay men because, as you know, in a Muslim country, it's not allowed. He made dates with them and went to their homes. One lovely man, he chopped his head off, he beheaded the man and cut his genitals off. Then he went to the next one. He didn't behead the next one because he was disturbed. It was in the open ground. He was disturbed. And that man was found dead there under the tree in the grounds of the house. He cut his genitals off. He mutilated the man's body. The third one, he gouged his eyes out. One of his eyes is saved. This man lived to tell the truth and identify him. And they caught a dirty, vile piece of scum. They're emptying them out of prisons in certain countries and putting them on boats to the UK and Ireland, Greece, Germany. Look at Greece. Greece warned Ireland to please stop. This is what's going to happen. Your country is going to end up like here. All the rapes that's happening in Greece is unbelievable. Look it up if you don't believe me. Everything I'm telling you is 100% factual. There is no conspiracy theory. There is no tinfoil hats. I don't care what colour your skin is or what nationality you are. You're a guest in our country. You don't come and abuse and then say in the courts, well, in my country, if we have an urge, we're allowed to deal with it, and the judges are letting some of them walk out of court. Well, now you know you can't do it in this country. Young little boys are in grave danger of being raped. And lucky if they're not murdered. It only happened 2 days ago, no, on Wednesday. There was a young lady in a park in Dublin. A non-national again. They are unvetted, illegal, economic migrants. He sat beside her on the beach, or in the park, sorry, on the bench, and started questioning her and asking her, where's your child? She pointed the child out. She said, I have to go. No, stay here. I don't want to stay here. He said, do you have a car? She said, no, I don't. Well, come on, and go to pick her child up and grab her child off her. The attempted kidnappings of young children in Ireland is every other day. Ireland is being destroyed by its own proxy government. And the reason I call them a proxy government, they were not voted in by the people. They made a trio. We called them, you stepped in and I stepped out again. They made a trio to get enough numbers to stay in government because the people didn't vote for them this time round. They knew they had to stay in to pull the plan off of this one world government. We all know what the one world government means. One world religion, one world health, what would you call it? Health, one world health, one world religion, one world everything.
Banking system, yeah, I really
the
like
banking
that.
system is a different story altogether. We can save ourselves from that if people all pull together. But the rapes and the dirty, vicious, violent attacks and the murders in Ireland, some of them are only 2 and 3 weeks in the country. And they were caught breaking into a young lady's house they didn't realise she was in.
Don't worry about it.
They didn't realise she was in. And the 2 of them was only 3 weeks in the country. And she lived in an attic room in Kerry. And actually a politician owned the house that she lived in. One of the Healy Rays owned the house as far as I was told. I'm 99% sure. They owned the house that she lived in, and she got out, she was able to crawl out of the attic. They had stabbed her so many times to stop her identifying them. The young girl lived. She was told not to put it on social media. The victims of rape in Ireland are being visited by the Gardaí police and told to take it down, or they're threatened with arrest if they don't. It's horrendous what's happening in Ireland.
This actually happens in the UK as well. Believe it or not, it does actually happen in the UK, where crimes of a certain colour or a certain religion or that comes over on the boats, they are actually, I mean, a lot of their crimes are actually hidden
Yeah.
from the people.
Yeah.
When it comes to courts and stuff like that, they say somehow get away with it. But I want everybody to realise in the UK how damaging it can be for your tourist trade.
That's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, ours is also gone. It's like 500 hotels already.
It's gone. But what they've done when they, as I call it, and I'll call a spade, the genocide of the elderly in the nursing homes, that was done for a specific reason as well. You look in Ireland now, all these beautiful, fabulous nursing homes, a lot of them are now housing to dozens, and if not hundreds, of these illegal, unvetted economic migrants. And that's what I will call them. They are not refugees fleeing war. Now I want to tell you one thing that's very important. We had, I think it was the mayor of Georgia. Both UK and Ireland is being flooded with Georgians. A lot of them are committing mass amount of crimes in both countries and in Belfast. Mass amount of crimes. The mayor has stood up and openly said there is no need for Ireland giving refuge to or asylum to Georgians. There is no war in Georgia. If they're fleeing the country, they're either fleeing court cases or serious crimes. And Ireland is opening arms to them, welcoming them with open arms into the country. So I say the victims of these people that's being welcomed in by these governments, they should take the government and make them held responsible for the crime that happens against you or your loved one. Make them responsible. It's the only way to try and put a stop to this. Is there any stopping it now? Have we let it go too far? Yes, we have. But now is the time to say, let's not get it any further. Get out and support these people. Support these people here today. I have come from Ireland and I'm staying down in Cardiff, a long way from here. And we've travelled up here today just to shake hands and congratulate the people taking a stand for your community. Your community. While you're sitting at home being a keyboard warrior, nice and cosy in your pyjamas, nice and cosy sitting there, Asha will watch it on the live. No need to go up and support. There is need to go up and support. If you want to save your children from what I've just described to you, you need to get out and you need to support these people. Not a couple of dozen people. There needs to be thousands here. Thousands. Or they're not going to get the response they need. You want your community kept safe. Stop being scared of a little word like racist. As I said, racist is not a word that's used just against somebody of colour or someone of a certain nationality. It was invented to brand you, to take your freedom of speech away. That's all that word is for. That word does not bother me. I'll wear a tinfoil hat with pride, because I know what I'm talking about is factual and truthful. Because I've witnessed it, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. And I will not stop speaking out. I will not. And their names and their branding will not take my freedom of speech away. It will not. If you want to save your children for what's coming down the road, you need to get up now. Put your warm clothes on, you get out here and support these people. Even if it's only an hour and you do exchange an hour with somebody else, you need to be here in the thousands, and you need to get onto your phone now and you need to get all your friends and tell them we have to get something together. You mind my kids while I go and rotate. You have to come out and support them. Otherwise, the fight will be lost and your community will be like many in Ireland, done.
Really nice chat with you, and I really have enjoyed it. I would love to do it again. Perhaps we can do it some other time. But well done for you for coming over here.
You're welcome.
Obviously, you're on holiday, but
yeah.
Obviously you've taken the time out of the day to come to speak to us. And I think a lot of people in the local communities are going to be very, very scared at the moment.
They will.
And they need to be scared. They need to be fighting back as well. Because those refugees which are going to be coming in next week or the week after.
They're not refugees.
All right, illegal immigrants.
Illegal economic migrants. They are not refugees under any circumstances. They're bringing them in under the guise of Ukrainian refugees. Now, you all have eyes in your head to see they are not Ukrainian refugees under any circumstances. If you're on the housing list, you can forget it.
Oh, we already know that.
Get out and take a stand. You know that, and the people in there know that. If you don't get out and take a stand, these people cannot do it all the time. They need your support. They need your support. Even for 1 hour, they need your support.
That's it.
100%. And you need to keep sharing the live streams that's on here. You need to keep sharing all the stuff that's happening in your community. This is the first time I've ever been in, and I'm looking around it, and it looks like an absolute beautiful community.
It's a village of 400.
A little village of 400 people.
And it's 240
It is going to be destroyed if you allow this go in this hotel. I'm telling you, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it. Firsthand, I've witnessed it. There's a place in the heart of the city called East Wall. Thousands have come out there and protested. There was an ESB building. They're building all these. They're taking industrial buildings in industrial estates, and they're putting them like a barracks in a barracks in an army, and they're putting up barracks beds, and they're doing them all in cubicles. These are men. There's no women with them. There's no children with them. They're all fighting age. They're the ones that's going to be standing on your throat very soon, and sooner than you think. So what you need to do now to save your beautiful community here, I'm looking around it, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Keep it like that. And if you want to keep it like that, you've got to come out. You can't leave it to these people all the time. You've got to come out. They're here since May. And some of you out there hasn't even come up because you're afraid of a little word like racist. It's only a word. You know you're not. Your family knows you're not. Your friends knows you're not. And that's all that matters. It's only a word. Racist, Nazi, are words invented to do exactly what it's doing to you, taking your freedom of speech away. Don't allow it. Stand up and be counted.
Yeah, thank you very much for speaking to us today. It's been amazing, actually. It's an eye-opener, and it's not so much of an eye-opener for me, but it's an eye-opener certainly for other people within the community. And thanks for having the balls to stand up for your community, and that's what's needed.
Can I just tell you one more thing before I tune out? I'm not going to mention names, but only last week there was a young girl, a homeless girl. They're getting made homeless in Ireland, and I'm sure the same is happening here in Wales. It's happening everywhere. The landlords are being offered so much money to evict the sitting tenants that's paying rent. What they're doing is they've been given the green light to up the rents to extortionate prices, which means the people that's in the houses 5, 6, 10 years are being outpriced. Means they have to get out. They've got no choice. And then they're made homeless. And there's a lot of this happening in Ireland, and they're homeless through no fault of their own. Some of these people have jobs, but the extortionate rents wouldn't even leave them with money for food, because they're not entitled to any social welfare if they're working. It would leave them extortionate. With the extortionate rents, they cannot do it. They couldn't afford to pay their children's play schools or whatever. They'd be left with no money to live on. So what's happening is they're getting put into homeless hostels. We had one young woman, and if you want to see it, go on to overdwall.com. It's my private channel. You Google it. It's not an app. It's not one of these Facebooks. It's my own private channel. My live stream. My streams got to go all on there. This young girl was in the hostel only last week, and we're not 100% sure of his nationality. He was either Romanian or Ukrainian. We're not sure of his nationality. He beat that girl into the face because she would not get out of that room. He wanted her out, and he was accusing her of something. If either smoking in the room or having drugs in the room. He searched the room, he found nothing. He pulled her by the hair off the bed onto the floor, pulled her all around the room. Her partner got the phone on, and in front of the phone, he was abusing her verbally. She ran to the bathroom to get away from him. He pulled her by the hair out of the bathroom, and then he almost killed her. in front of the camera. Now, if he'd done that in front of the camera, what would he have done if that camera had not been there? There was a female member of staff there, a female member of staff, and he took, in National March stance, he took his right fist straight into her throat, put her up in the air, you could hear her head bounce off the locker. The girl was screaming for the police to help her, for someone to get the police. This was done to this young woman, and I've been out all week searching for her in the middle of the night and all down where the homeless people go. We didn't find her, but this morning I've been told they have a contact number for me to contact her. This girl, I am going to go all the way with charges against this person. I will not stop until he's taken out of that position. They're coming into the country and they're putting him into positions with vulnerable people with no qualifications. And this is what's happening, people. If you want this in your country of this beautiful little village here, if you want this in your country of Wales and your little village here, well then stay at home on your computers. But if you want to stop this happening here, get up, get out, and take a stand. Over there now from me, the
Thank you very much, Dee. Thanks everybody for watching and sharing. Thanks to my admin, and I'll catch you all later. And I'll speak to you